Another day, another dumbass sad quest. Am I right, fellas?
Oh,
Yay! Were we flying? What the heck was that? Like we were just kind of floating
nice.
in. We're returning to the land of Hyrule.
Yeah,
nice.
it's called
It's very
atmosphere,
pleasant.
Jay. You can learn
Yeah.
It was nice. I did like it. Load the save file, quick.
No, this is the music that I play when I do 20 minutes of introduction before every fucking episode. Because, alright, so I do have something to explain before we start, so I'm only going to address one of the common fan responses that we've gotten, which is, I've made a mistake, a big, huge oversight, in that I made an NPC who was a proud tomato farmer, and then I gave him a name that starts with the letters T-O-M. And as a result, everyone is either requesting or demanding that his full name be Tommy Ato.
Like in Pokemon.
Yes.
Well, his first name could be Tommy, his last name can be Toe, and then his middle initial can be the number 8.
Look out for, like, the Zora NPC named Anchovy.
And no, her name will just be Anne.
And, yeah, well, so if you're wondering how I didn't see that coming when I named him Tommy, it's because I originally wrote him as a pumpkin farmer, but then tomatoes were just so much funnier, so
They
I replaced...
are funnier. I'm surprised that wasn't your plan from the beginning.
No, I wrote in the pumpkins and I thought this could play better, and then, like, an hour before the stream, I went through the script and changed all references to pumpkins to tomatoes.
Okay. I would say that is a good call. Tomatoes are definitely funnier than pumpkins. Not to say pumpkins are not funny. They are.
But tomatoes, though.
And also, his name is Tommi, not Tommy. So
Yeah, everything is spelled wrong.
because it's a fantasy name.
No one's ever spelled
Definitely
Tommy
loving
with
this
an
fan
I.
art courtesy Lunar Halo.
Yes, thank you. Again, if anyone draws any sort of fan art or any shit post even, I'll put it up here during break and before we start. But
Don't mind me, just shit posting about the stream I'm in.
I had a plan.
but so yeah, I will compromise with you guys. I'll name him Tommy Otto.
Tommy Otto.
Is that Otto like O-T-T-O or Otto as in like A-H-T-O?
Otto.
It's A-T-O, but it's pronounced Otto because the game was made in Japan.
Oh.
And also, I don't think last names are a thing in Zelda.
I don't think they are.
King
Only the King of
King
Hyrule.
Hyrule.
Wait.
I don't know if that's like a title or.
Well, you guys know that it's her last name that's Zelda, right?
Yeah.
The first name.
Okay, what the fuck is the chat saying? Did I pick the wrong number for Lunar Halo? I'm sorry.
No, I think that
Everyone's
there's
reacting
just-
to the number. I don't know what the deal is.
I think my chatty died.
Is it 22? I don't
Is
know.
it 32?
I think it's more that there is numbers in it. Like we all know, just know.
Oh, like it's not. It's like it's not our friend of the channel, Lunar Halo. Like it's just some fucker. It's 24. All right, that's what the deal is. Sorry, Lunar. I didn't check. I didn't fact check. There we go. It's fixed.
Wait, you mean her name isn't Lunar Hal 024?
Okay, shit. We're 10 minutes in and I didn't even explain a damn thing. So I gotta get through this fast. Everything has been nerfed. Everything.
Okay.
So strength got nerfed last time around, and I tried to complicate the formula further, but what I realized was that it was perfect the way I had it before, and it was the only thing I got completely right. But I never explained out loud how it works, so I'm going to do that right now. So this here is a little handy-dandy chart that I made.
Oh.
It's the
Chart.
formula that determines how much damage you do when you roll a strength attack. And then I went ahead and pre-calculated your outputs at different die rolls. So you all started the game with 5 hearts, and that's the same that the average Bokoblin has. And you were all capable of one-shotting a bokoblin with a high enough roll.
Mwah.
For Gazambo, since his 10 gives him a 5.5,
Huh?
he only needs a 7 to one-shot a bokoblin. He can do 5 hearts of damage with a 7 or higher. But he's got a 13 strength. So our weakest currently member, Vayu, who only has a 2 in strength, Vayu would need to roll an 18 or higher to one-shot a bokoblin.
But I'm assuming that precision-based attacks use a different calculation.
Yeah, precision. So you never use melee attacks, so it's not going to come up much.
Yeah, I'm not gonna just run up and like fucking deck a guy with my bow or something.
Regardless,
Are you
this
sure?
this is the chart, and the average bokoblin who just has like a boko bow has a 3 in strength, so that puts them somewhere between Zozin and Vayu on this chart.
Hey.
And that makes you guys just about as vulnerable as they are right now, and that's okay. I like that. I
So
think
you
that
have
the
to be very lucky
fragility-
with the rolls.
I think that the fragility of your hearts is very Breath of the Wild, which is why I made it
Okay,
so
that's
easy
just-
to lose or take a heart. But eventually,
I
when you
will
guys are all
say-
like level 20,
Didn't we agree that speed had to be simultaneously buffed and nerfed?
Yeah, Speed's got a different story.
Damn well better.
Just because you don't like how many turns you get compared to me doesn't mean you can nerf me.
As a game
No,
design
you definitely
Game
needed a nerf,
design.
and I'll get to that. But if you think that this chart looks nice and readable, then I'd like to introduce you to its cousin, the precision chart, which might not be as
Oh boy.
user
Oh
friendly.
boy.
It's Dungeon Master friendly, but
Ta-da!
this is the chart that I use to calculate your precisions.
my.
And I changed the formula slightly. I tweaked it from previous games, so this is new.
Well, thank you for moving that so that the purple ones were
Yeah. But the
Don't like
precision
me.
attacks have a fixed outcome. Like, if you hit it's either hit or miss, and whether you're Zozin or you're Gazambo, if you hit, you're going to do the same amount of damage.
Okay, just like Zozin and Vayu would have a higher chance of hitting
Yes,
Yeah,
yeah.
I'm
from
confused.
farther distances.
Uh-huh.
What are the numbers?
Right. So
mean?
these numbers, because it's either hit or miss, and you're not doing different damage. These numbers are the minimum roll that you'd have to get to actually hit the target at different distances.
Okay.
So Gazambo, if he just picked up a bow right now, and he got higher than a 4, he could hit a target that was 5 feet away. That wouldn't be an issue. Or he could throw a rock or something.
Right.
But it's gonna the farther the target is, the more you're going to need a precision skill. And so
That's why when he
Vayu-
threw the barrel in episode 1, it failed.
Right, that's why I didn't hit, is because it didn't. But before I changed the formula, it was way too easy to hit target. Like, Gazambo could have picked up a bow and arrow and shot something 50 feet away without needing any skill points whatsoever. So I've changed
Well,
it now.
dang it.
So now the precision skill is much more valuable to have.
Cool.
But you might be wondering how one is able to roll a 34 or higher. And that's why I like to remind you that you can stack your rolls by giving up a stamina wheel. So if you need to hit something that far away, you need to give up a stamina wheel, and then you get to roll twice. Or 3 times, or 4 times, depending on how many stamina wheels you give me. And that can bring your total up.
Now, what are the purple numbers?
So the formula in blue here is when you're aiming at like a weak point. And I don't have a good like snappy name for those kind of attacks yet.
Called shot.
What?
Called shot.
Called shot, sure. I don't know what that
Corner
means.
pocket. Bomb arrow to the corner pocket.
Yeah.
I'll call them called shots then. Cold cuts.
Oh, that's a callback.
That's Steven Universe reference
Like
from
2
our
days
last
ago.
stream.
Now, isn't that like a Cheat Commandos reference, actually, technically?
Well, it's a long,
Let's not go there, let's
long
not go
train
there.
of
It's
thought.
made its way around.
You've gone.
But if you're aiming for a specific target, the formula gets changed, and it makes it harder for you to hit your target. So
Yeah, the chat's saying critical hits. Or
Well, critical hits are something different.
I think I'm gonna call them cold cuts. So if you're
Going
aiming
for a cold cut on this one, boys.
a cold cut is like, or the only other ways to like do more than the typical damage is to hit them with a cold cut, or to use like a shock arrow or a bomb arrow or something.
At some point we're gonna be fighting. We're gonna be like in a deli. We're gonna have to fight off some goblins with like cured meats.
But with the formula, like, it is possible to hit something that is a football field away from you. That's 360 feet. It's an American football field. Sorry, Saps. An American football field, and
One gridiron.
Not only are you using feet, you're also using American wrong football.
yeah. But like Gazambo could throw a rock across the field and hit a target. He just needed to give me 11 stamina slots, and then roll 12 times, and then hit a nat 20 on all of them. But it's possible. It's within the realm of possibility. But even then, that would only do a half a heart of distance unless he was aiming for a weak point. In which case, it would be like, I don't know, 20 stamina wheels to do. I didn't calculate it. 18, I think.
So what determines how much damage a person's precision attack does?
Well, it's just gonna. Your arrow basically is what does the standard damage. But when you hit a weak point, if you hit like their secret special eye, then I get to decide whether that's going to be like 5 times damage or whatever. But
Special eye.
Turns out the weak point was in their chest.
And even
not
if
their eye.
even if your weak point doesn't do like specialized damage, it might like trip them and make them fall over or drop their weapon, and that would give an opening for your teammates.
Yeah. It's like Mega Man X-esque, where it might not do more damage, but it might give you an added effect that makes the fight easier.
Sure.
So if I'm gonna keep updating these charts every stream just for my sake. If you guys want to see them at any time, just holler, and then I'll put them on the screen for you.
But the real weak point was the friends we made along the way.
I
like that, Dragoni.
Stealth got nerfed. No, stealth didn't get nerfed. I didn't, because you haven't used stealth yet at all in the whole series.
Come on, you're gonna do it soon.
I promise stealth opportunities will come, but it's not like you're gonna need to sneak up on Tommy while he's sleeping and give him his medicine or something. I don't.
Wow.
I don't have anything like that written. So, Gazambo, your roll attack got nerfed, so now it costs half a stamina wheel to use. That way you can't just freely go wherever
Just
you
do it
want.
all the time.
You get a move and an attack, so it wasn't fair to not take something back. Music.
That seems fair. I like that.
Music got nerfed slightly. Specifically, Kome and Kotake's Lullaby.
Oh.
Okay.
Because I realized you weren't rolling at all. So your music skill had no effect on your outcome. So now that's going to tie into how long or how much you're imbuing with ice or fire.
Okay.
So I was
like if I roll a high number, I might be able to like imbue more arrows or whatever.
Yeah, I just pulled 10 as a random number, but I think it's going to be tied to your roll. So you can do like one arrow if you get a low roll, or
I like that.
20 arrows if you get a high one.
I mean, so far we've only ever needed one per mech.
Yeah, well, that's going to change the higher levels you go.
Yeah.
Then...
in case you guys hadn't noticed, I got a new song.
Oh, yes. Sonora leveled up and added Druce Protection to her...
Yeah, it functions like it does in Breath of the Wild. I make a bubble that has a certain amount of HP.
I knew I forgot to do something.
Yeah, I was going to mention that, but then...
I knew I forgot to do something. I did it on my DM copy, but not the stream copy.
So yeah, I leveled up. Guess what I buffed?
What? No.
Who
No
could have
comment.
thought?
Lord.
Speedy boy. Speedy boy. And speaking of speed, that also got nerfed. Severely nerfed. And I can't even, like, really explain how in the amount of time that we have for explaining things. So I'll get to that eventually, but it won't be this week. I'll just say that now Sozin won't have 5 times as many turns as everyone else.
Thank fucking God.
It'll be more like... He'll still have more turns, but it'll be much more fairly scaled.
Okay, good.
So hopefully we'll actually repeat orders of combat instead of just going through it once and then everyone's dead. I figured if we're actually repeating it, then his multiplayers will be more helpful. So that's everything that I wanted to explain before we start. So, are we good to jump into it?
I cut out while you explained it, but I guess I remember what you said earlier.
Yeah.
You'll be
We'll
fine
figure
if
it
you
out.
read what I said in the chat.
Yeah, I read what you said in chat the other day, and yeah.
So I'm going to start, but I'm not going to start right where we left off yet, because I have another scene prepared that I'd like to do first.
Are we going back in time?
I can't hear the fucking music. There we go.
Oh.
In an entirely different part of the world from Sunbury Town, two bokoblins pitch a tent. They've been traveling north by foot, and now they're setting up camp for the night. One of them starts a fire by bashing a rock against a pile of wood. And the other one reaches into his loincloth and retrieves a live squirrel, which he caught earlier that day. And he begins to hold the squirrel over the fire to roast. And then in the distance, atop a tall pine tree, Vayu, the Rito archer, watches this. In just over 24 hours, Vayu will be selected as champion by Hylia and teleported to Zelda's shrine. But today, he's just a patrol unit for the Northern Rito tribe. And these bokoblins have just set up camp only a mile away from Totori, his Rito village. So what would Vayu like to do?
So, sort of sitting on top of the tree and staring down at them, I kind of lift up my bow and imagine it like being held in the middle by the fist and kind of using it to judge distance, sort of looking from one side to the other and then pulling it back and saying, "Yep, too close, friends. Sorry about this." And taking out my arrow, I'm going to knock one. And then I'm going to pull back, and I'm going to aim at the guy who's roasting the squirrel.
Question.
Yes, Jay?
Did you say that squirrel was alive?
Yes.
Can he put the squirrel out of his misery first?
No, Jay.
It's
He's
on
roasting it
fire
alive.
right now!
Okay, the level 1 squirrel appreciates your concern, and then quickly dies.
It just gives you a little thumbs up with its tiny squirrel fingers. And then
What, Terminator style?
Yes.
Exactly.
closes its eye and prepares to die. No. So, Vayu, are you just taking aim, or have you actually fired yet?
No, I'm going to let go, so.
Can you roll?
Absolutely. That is a 12.
Okay. So that is going to hit the bokoblin right where you want him, and the other one suddenly notices this and begins looking around nervously.
And, what, did the other one die, or is he still alive?
The other one's dead.
Okay. And noticing that the other one is dead and how easily it sort of just toppled over, I'm going to jump out of the tree, front flip through the air, aiming down at the bokoblin below me. I'm going to say, "Sorry you had to witness that, but it won't matter for long." And then shoot the second one. And you can consider that a called shot if you want.
Alright, roll.
Yes.
Alright, that's 16.
Okay. The bokoblin screams and attempts to block it, but the arrow is even faster than his arms can lift up and pierces him through the skull, killing him.
All right, and seeing the second one drop, I throw out my wings and use them to break my fall as I, perch on the ground right next to their camp. And shaking my head, I sort of, douse the fire and start taking apart the camp that they had built.
But the squirrel.
Yeah, what happened to the squirrel?
It's dead! What do you think happens to things after they die?
The squirrel
Like it res?
The squirrel pulls itself out of the fire and it's been singed, but it shakes off the last ember and scurries back into the forest, never looking back.
I give it an old Rito like whistle song, which can recover the 1/4 of a heart it has.
Truly a miracle has been performed on this day. Now, a trusted friend flies up to Veyu. He is the chieftain of the Northern Rito tribe.
Nice.
His name is Chieftain Kippor Gabora.
Yes! I love it!
Wait for the chat. Wait for the chat.
Excellent work, Veyu.
There it is. As always, sir, I say, giving like a polite bow.
He bows back to you. Fly with me back to Tori.
Of course, it would be my honor, I say, putting the bow back over my shoulder and awaiting for, like, kind of doing that thing where I, like, bow my head and lift my wings up, allowing him to go first.
Over the years, Chieftain Kippor Gabora has taken you under his wing. Literally. He personally taught you how to use a bow. And on your flight home, he goes over the basics with you again, as he does every day. Then you simply...
Sorry, go ahead.
Then you simply relax your grip on the string, allowing the arrow to soar past you. Veyu, are you listening?
Yes, yes, of course.
Good.
Let go.
Now, it's important that you maintain a strong and stiff posture as you leave to assure a straight travel. Veyu, are you listening?
Yes, I get it. Let go.
Good.
Go.
Now, then, if you intend to examine the body after firing, it's wise to keep your bow drawn in the event of unforeseen danger. And that's how you fire a bow. Veyu, would you like to hear all that again?
Yes, I said. Oh, wait, no!
Well, you see, first you draw your bow and promptly attack the string for the arrow. He continues to blather on until you arrive at Totori. Totori is a village that is built on a concave rock.
The music's a little loud.
Woo! Totori is a village that is built on a concave rock that would be impossible to climb, so you have to fly up to it. It's directly over Totori Lake, where the fishers are currently flying up with the day's catch, which actually looks a little small. And the shops are all closing, and the Ritos are returning home. And people bow to you as you fly past their tents. So in some cultures, the soldier types are regarded like decorated heroes, but that's not how it is in the Northern Rito tribe. There's no celebration. In this tribe, everybody has a role, and those roles are all equally respected. Hunters, gatherers, tailors, artists, all have jobs that strengthen the community, so they're all treated with dignity and quiet admiration.
But what if they get a 20?
Then they did a really good job that day. But anyone can do a really good job on their day. So, gabbing on the entire time about proper bow form, Kippor Gabora leads you to his tent at the highest point of the rock, and then he urges you to follow him to his private quarters.
And after unplugging my ears, metaphorically, I nod and I follow him under the flap of the tent into his domicile.
Kind of without thinking, as an unintentional reflex, as he often does, Kippor Gabora flips his head upside down while he talks. He doesn't even seem to notice.
Oh my god!
He doesn't even really seem to notice that he did it. He just kind of keeps talking. But his long lecture just sort of trails off as he begins to stare stolidly at an intricate designed bow that's hanging on the wall.
And noticing that he's sort of kind of just trailed off and stopped, and almost feeling uneasy that he hasn't continued one of his like 6-hour-long lectures, I kind of tilt my head to the side, almost humorously compared to how his is completely flipped over, and cast a gaze at him and say, "Sir, are you all right there? You've finished your lecture, I'd say, about at least 1/20th too soon."
His head flips back around, and he says, "This bow is our village's oldest relic. They say it's the greatest bow in the entire world. Our ancestors named it the Peacebringer, as it was used to fight our very last war 1,000 years ago. We have not had a single attack on our soil since then. Our people have never known bloodshed. Still, we are not at peace. Do you know what I mean by that?
Well, I mean, the Bokoblins encroach upon our land by an increasing amount every day, and I mean, there's no shortage of arrows that I waste keeping it from getting worse, unless there's something that I'm not personally aware of.
You have been doing an excellent job keeping our soils safe. The Bokoblins have never gotten close to us thanks to your vigilant watch. But I'm afraid your job isn't the only one that matters in this village. True peace can only be attained when everyone in the village's needs are met. And right now, we have a food shortage. Our hunters, gatherers, and fishers are all reporting scarcer and scarcer supplies each day. At our current rate, it's not sustainable. If nothing changes within a month's time, we'll be starving. Vayu, you may have protected our land today, but your job is not done. It is our duty to help Satori when capable. Please, help us.
And Vayu sort of like putting his fingers, his feather fingers to his chin, or his beak, and rubbing it slightly in thought. He seems a little troubled, and he remembers looking back at the diminished hunt, and looking back up to Gabora Gabori, he says, "But I don't know how to fish. I've never really had to fend for myself beyond keeping the village free of the Bokoblins and other moblins. Would you have me trade in my bow for a net?"
Kipora Gabora bows to you, and it's not just the polite bow that he kind of does as a greeting. This is more of a plead. And he says, "Just as I trained you in the bow, I shall train you to hunt boar. I shall train you to hunt deer, squirrels, anything that can bring more food to our village."
Love the squirrels.
And noticing that he's bowing and realizing how like serious it is of a sign for the village elder to bow so low to him, he takes a deep breath in, slowly gets down onto his knees and bows just as low, saying, "Azarito, I will do what is needed for the village."
Kipora Gabora smiles, and then he stands up and kind of strokes the bow on the wall. Says, "If you can maintain our tribe's peace, then one day this bow may belong to you, Vayu."
And sort of like feeling the excitement well up inside of him, but not wanting to appear like a child on Christmas, Vayu slowly rises back to his feet and just staying exactly put and calming his nerves as best as possible. He says, "That would be just a great honor."
The next day, a few miles out from Toturi, Vayu and Kipora Gabora are out searching for food. But off in the distance, Vayu hears what sounds like a child screaming.
And my ears, well, if you call them ears,
Your
perking up.
holes, your head
Yeah,
holes.
my head holes. I snap my neck in the direction of the sound, and without even checking to see if Gabora Gabora had heard it, he would just hear the sound of like, and I would already be taking to the air in that direction.
Following the sound, you stop when you can see a Gerudo child in the distance, crying on the ground. And then above her is an adult Gerudo woman holding an electric prod. And the adult is yelling something in the Gerudo language, and you don't really understand what she's saying. But she's angry, and then she lashes the prod at the girl, who cries in pain.
And seeing this with my Rito eyes, I dive down as quickly as possible, sort of like spearing my way towards them through the air, and I dive, like kicking both of my feet into the ground between the child and the woman, flapping my wings at
You
the
don't
woman.
quite get that far.
Oh, shit, okay.
Because before you can get close enough, Kapora Gabora flies in front of you and stops you.
Yeah. Sir, what's the meaning of this?
Do not act, Vayu. Those are
And-
Gerudo. We haven't
Okay.
had a war in 1,000 years, and we accomplished that by not getting involved in other people's affairs.
But the child, sir. Surely this...
For all you know, that child could be some sort of criminal. Or perhaps that woman is the Gerudo chieftain. If we were to get involved, there's a chance the Gerudo people could retaliate against us.
And sort of, like, gazing at him, at Kabor Gabor, and then beyond at the scene, I'm assuming which is still playing out,
Yeah.
I still just kind of do the equivalent of grating my beak, and I just... Sir... And turning my head away from the scene, I just kind of, like, ask him, what would you have me do?
The Rito lives are more valuable to us, the Rito people. We can't put them in danger for things we don't understand. Just please look the other way and let's keep moving. Kabora Gabora wants to have the last word, so he doesn't let you respond. He just looks coldly, turns away, and then flies away towards home. And he's gone by the time the Gerudo woman picks up the child by her hair.
And looking around, I see that Kabora Gabora has already taken off. And noticing that he's gone, Bayu flies over towards the, like, still above, out of eye shot of the pair, and flying down quickly, he swoops past them in front of the woman, and drawing his bow, he lands right in front of her, holding the arrow, basically to her, I'm assuming, long nose.
Excuse?
Assuming?
The Gerudo woman is horrified by this. She doesn't know how to act at first. She's confused, but then she finds her anger, and without speaking, she raises the prod to attack.
Can I dodge?
She has not attacked yet. You're faster than her.
Okay, then in that case, can I shoot her?
Wait. You have finger feathers, or feather fingers, right?
Yes.
Can you tickle her?
No!
Oh my god.
I'm gonna say that Vayu fires his arrow,
Okay.
and it was an easy victory. And once that adult Gerudo was down, the child ran away. And you tried to follow her, but you somehow lost her. And you never found out who she was or what was happening. But that night, before you went to bed, you prayed for her safety. And that was your very last thought before you were teleported to the realm of dreams. And maybe that is the reason Goddess Hylia chose you that night. Previously on the Scattered Hero, our four
Wonder
champions.
you were moody.
Previously on the Scattered Hero, our four champions, Vayu, Gazambo, Sonora, and Zozin, met a friendly tomato farmer named Tommy Otto. And he rode you in his tomato wagon to Sunbury Town, where you began to cook and sell fried tomatoes for cash. While there, Zozin ran into a stable boy named Bobo, who requested 1,000 crickets so he could talk to the innkeeper's cute daughter Grayly. Instead, Zozin asked Grayly out himself, pretending to be named Bobo. He attempted to get them together at the saloon, but due to his drunken state and also the fact that it was a dumb plan to begin with, Graylee left the saloon crying, and Bobo, unaware of what was happening, chased after her to comfort her. And then, as if he hadn't caused enough trouble for that one day, Zozin punched out a short Hylian man named Suitor.
Oh my god.
Gazambo and Sonora helped carry him back to his room at the inn, where he'd been staying for the last year for reasons you don't quite know. And afterwards, the whole party went back to the farmer's market to sleep for the night. And now, by the sound of the cuckoo's calling, it's day. So what do you do?
Good morning.
So loud.
What's the matter, Zozin? Huh? Rise and shine, buddy.
What happened yesterday?
Oh. Tell me you remember what you did.
My cheek hurts so I can guess.
I'll take it.
The ground punched you several times.
Yeah, Zozin's going to carry that half a heart missing damage from when Sonora slapped him last stream. That's his punishment for fucking up at the saloon.
Alright, is everybody up? Hey Zozin, how do you wake up a Goron?
Tickle him.
God damn it.
Vayu?
Well, actually, Vayu wouldn't have been present. So, for the time being, you would just notice that Vayu's sleeping bag is empty.
Oh, never mind. I guess it'll have to be me. I gingerly tickle Gazambo.
Hang on, roll for tickle. Roll for tickle.
One.
Not very good. Gazamo doesn't even feel it.
Me.
He's actually laughing at the funny dream he's having.
I'm gonna show you how it's done.
Zozin.
I roll 17.
Oh, that does the trick.
Oh no! Oh, brother. Good morning.
Please tell me you stopped me yesterday.
Well, Zombo was a little busy, and
No.
okay, listen.
How
you
many
like-
this time?
You had like 17 drinks or something. Zombo didn't notice.
To stop me when this happens.
I thought things were okay until you punched the man, you know, and then from there I stepped in, it went great.
Tommy approaches Zozin and says, "You know, tomato juice is an excellent way to fight against hangovers. I can make you a glass."
Would be much appreciated.
I'll take one too if you don't mind.
Oh, you got it, man. And
I don't have a hangover, I just really like tomatoes.
Tommy
A little bit.
enthusiastically.
I drank a fair bit last night.
Tommy enthusiastically starts squeezing his tomatoes.
So what?
And
Hey Tommy, did you happen to see Vayu this morning?
perhaps he was trying to be the early bird, catch the worm, so to speak. Huh? Huh?
Oh, Tommy.
I know we've had our fun here, but you should probably know that I'll be leaving town pretty soon. By the end of the day, I've got to get back to my farm. So, no more business between the two of us till my next visit.
Well, thank you very much. For
Zombo
everything.
missed you, Tommy.
Oh, come here and give me a hug, Gazambo!
Oh, no. Squeeze!
That ain't tomato juice.
I'll just put him back down now.
And that hug inspired him to make the best tomato juice of his career. And he made 4 glasses, hoping that Vayu would be able to have a glass himself if he were to show up. But the rest of you get handed your tomato juices, and Tommy begins packing up his stuff.
And just as Tommy starts packing up, you would hear the familiar sound of Veyu's talons beating against the ground. And landing, he kind of rolls back his shoulders and looks at the lot of you. And he kind of jovially says, "Oh, thinking of leaving without me now, were you?"
Hey, I'd never. Here, I made you a glass of tomato juice. It's there on the counter. But unfortunately, I've got to get back to my farm before the crops start missing me.
Understandable. Everybody has their job to do, and far be it for me to stop them from doing it. And I say, like, swiping up the glass and walking to join everybody else.
You know that path we took through the canyon where I picked you up? If you go the clear opposite way, eventually you'll run into my farm. So, if you need some tomatoes, you know where to go.
All right. I'll keep that in mind. I say, making a mental note of that. And, well, it was definitely a pleasure to meet you, Tommy, and may your crops be ever fruitful, or is it vegetable? I say with a small chuckle.
He doesn't get it.
That,
yeah! Alright.
Does not have the funny stat.
Would have been better coming out of a Goron, I think. But Tommy puts the last empty barrel of what used to be full of tomatoes on his cart and slaps the reins on his cattle, which begin pulling him out of the farmer's market.
Everybody wave to the nice man.
Saxo and Savok.
Good luck, brother.
I'm your brother.
Everyone go on, brother.
Oh shit, I forgot.
All right, gang. So we picked up on a few leads last night we could follow up on.
Which ones?
So for one, there's this fake prison break-in. What was the name of the town?
Cherry Bay.
Yeah.
Cherry Bay. There's Gazumbo's assassin, which I think we can ignore for now.
Wait, but Gozamo had an idea about that. He's sneaky, right? You can get sneaky people to sneak people out of fake jail.
Or
Right.
I
run
distinctly
and
remember him
outrage
being
the fast.
I distinctly remember him being upset that killing wasn't an option. I feel like he may be create some collateral
Oh,
damage.
Gozumbo forgot about that. Right.
And finally, there is Zozen's mess.
How many?
What if we get 1,000 crickets, dump them in jail, and when guards run away, we get Guy?
First off, it's a woman. Second
Oh.
off,
Always confuses Gozumbo.
that's fair.
Yeah, Gorons don't have much experience with gender. So.
Yeah. Oh, and Veyu, how was the business at the stall last night?
Well, I dare say that my occupation last night was at least not destructive to the entire village. He says, sort of like knocking back the entire glass of tomato juice and then slamming it back down, glaring at a lot of you.
Sorry.
I woke up 2 hours early just to fly overhead to make sure that you hadn't burned the place down.
I'm not good with fire.
It was a metaphor. Anyway, it appears at least that you haven't destroyed the village and they aren't running us out with pikes. So I guess I can't be
Yes.
too angry.
Though I do feel bad for that girl. And the boy. I feel like we should do something for them before we leave.
And do you have any ideas that won't cause another punch to the face or the requirement of 1,000 slugs or some such asinine thing?
1,000 crickets?
Just that was the... He cannot talk. It is beyond him.
No, I literally mean Bobo the style boy wanted 1,000 crickets to talk to the girl.
I know that he wanted it.
No, you don't.
Sonora,
Yes.
what would you like to do in order to try to rectify this situation?
Well, the problem. Let's see. remind me, what happened last night?
Well, with a faint recollection, seems like I might have fucked up.
Yeah. I'm debating whether Zosin should be the one to clean up this mess, or if he should be as uninvolved as possible.
The
Well,
latter is usually better.
to clarify, the last thing that happened was he introduced himself as the second Bobo when they were all three at the dinner table, and then he tried to run away. And when Grayley asked him why, he gave no answer, causing her to storm out. He then drunkenly whispered in Bobo's ear to chase after her and comfort her, and the two were never seen again.
I feel like we should talk to them. Perhaps separately first.
I mean, I have no objection of trying to locate them, and perhaps if you will permit me being so forward, Gerudo, such as yourself, may know a bit more about relationship advice than,
Me?
him.
Well, it's not a high bar to clear.
Snicker, snicker.
I think I'll go
I
talk.
had-
I think I'll go talk to the girl. I think someone else should go talk to the boy.
I'll talk to him. I know where he is.
True, you know where he lives, but what do you plan on telling him?
Guess Sam will go with me.
Okay, forgive me. If I don't immediately believe that this idea is destined for success.
Gozambo's not good with this kind of thing.
Just keep me from doing stupid things like I always do.
Gozambo's not good with this kind of thing.
You lived with me for like how many years now?
And why haven't you changed?
Why haven't you noticed when I'm screwing up?
That's the problem we both understand.
I slam them together.
Club.
Not enough to do serious damage, but enough
No.
to at least get them
It
to
at least
realize.
stings on Zosin's recently slapped cheek.
Here, I trust Sonora to be able to handle her end of the bargain. I feel as if it'll take the combined knowledge of all three of us imbecilic gentlemen to be able to compare to her finesse with such topics. So I will join the two of you. And we'll see if together we can't fix this, at least somewhat. How does that sound?
I'm in. Boys.
Zozin, Gazambo, will you deign to allow me to join you on your love quest?
Please.
If you don't call it that, yes.
No promises, no promises, I say, like, walking outward away from the camp. Good luck, Sonora, I'm sure you won't need it.
I'm gonna just drink a little bit more before we leave.
Zozin!
Okay, so
Sorry!
if I'm to get this right, Sonora is going to go see Grayley at the inn,
Yeah.
and Zozin and who are going to
The rest of us are
okay,
going
all
to
three of you
go.
are going to go see Bobo. So I'd like to do Sonora scene first.
Okay.
Please.
Time for my improv skills for this.
So you walk into
Perfectly
this
for me.
inn. You walk into the inn, and Grayley's mom is working behind the counter, who you have not met before. Well, no, you did meet her because she gave you the keys to Soother's house. So you know who she is, but not her relationship to Grayley. And Grayley is nowhere to be seen.
All right. Hey, ma'am.
Oh, yes?
How much for a night here?
I forgot to come up with a number. And we're a real loosey-goosey place, you know. Take what you got.
Okay.
200 rupees a night.
Okay. For a room or for a person?
Per person.
Okay. Say, wasn't there somebody else who works here? I feel like I passed by and there's someone else here.
Oh, that's my daughter, Grayley. But she's not really feeling well, so I'm taking her shift.
No, poor dear, what happened? Is she sick?
It's the most awful thing you ever heard. Last night, she came home in tears, saying that a boy named Bobo broke her heart. And then, a minute later, this Bobo character marched into my inn and asked to speak with her. Nuh-uh, not to my daughter. I threw his ass out of here and told him to never set foot in this inn again.
Oh, dear, it's terrible.
There's nothing I can do to console her. I'm running out of options.
If you ask me, this Bobo character sounds like a real piece of work.
Oh, he was the dorkiest guy, and I think he had a cricket on him.
Cricket? Funny that. Still seems kind of sweet. I've heard a story that crickets are good luck for young lovers. I don't know.
Well, he's certainly no lover of my daughter. If I ever see him again, I'm chasing him out with a pitchfork.
Okay.
Okay. Turns around and leaves.
Did she?
That sounds thorough.
Ryu, did she ever answer if the 200 was for a room or for a person?
It was per
It's per
person.
person.
Per person. Okay. And how much do we have? Okay, we should have it. I have enough on me.
Yeah, let me zoom in on your stats.
Yeah, you will.
So, sorry to get so distracted. About that room, you said 200 per person for a night?
That's correct.
All right. Would you like me to pay up front?
Yes, please.
All right.
Chinka chinka chink. She collects your rupees and then she hands you a key.
Okay.
Now, if you need any sort of service or cleaning, just let me know and I'll take care of it. We try to make sure everyone's comfortable here.
All right. Thank you. I head on up to my room.
All right. So now you are in a rented room. It looks like there were only 2 rooms that weren't occupied. So yours is all the way down the hallway, and in here there are 2 double-sized king-size beds, and a TV. No, those don't exist. A board game, a chess set,
Okay.
and a bathroom.
Dress.
And some random pots scattered around in case you need to store your rupees.
I don't think those pots are for rupees, Ryu. All right. I take a quick look around, and then re-enter the hallway, and then I slowly start to check each door, pressing my ear against it and listening for sounds inside.
You peek, press your head against the door, and you can hear faint sniffle sounds.
I gently knock. Say, is everything all right in there?
You hear a very muffled voice say, "Man, fuck!"
Oh, boy troubles.
Yeah.
Mind if I come in? Want to talk? Want to talk about it?
Sure, come in.
I enter the room.
The first thing you notice in the room are an ocean of used tissues lining the floor. The second thing you notice are that there are painted posters of boys on the wall, which have all been ripped down the middle to some degree. And the third thing you notice, which is much harder to spot, is that the pile of blankets on the bed are actually Grayley, laying face down in her pillow.
Oh, honey. Oh no, you've got it bad. Hey.
She peeks up and says, "Who are you?"
Hi, my name's Senora. What's your name?
"I'm Grayley."
Really, that's a lovely name.
"Thanks." She sits up, kind of opening up a little bit. "You want to hear about my day?"
Let it out, honey.
Well, yesterday I was working at the inn, and then this kind of ugly looking boy walked in. Maybe it was a hobo. He had a really long beard.
Oh, ew, like
Yeah. And,
bushy or?
I told him he smelled like a rainstorm, but really it was just rotten tomatoes. Like he'd just been bathing in tomatoes that whole day.
Oh no!
But I was being real polite to him, and then he asked me out, and I said yeah.
Just like that?
Well, I was getting really really lonely, and turns out I would have said yes to anyone who walked in here. I wish it was that cute stable boy, but no, it was Bobo. That was his name, by the way, the bearded man, Bobo. And he told me to meet him at the saloon that night. When I got there, he was totally drunk, like wasted before he even said hi to me. I don't know if he just couldn't stand looking at me before he got all drunk, and
the nerve.
He was boring, wouldn't make any conversation, and then he brought the stable boy to the table and interrupted our date, and then he tried to run away. So I caught up to him and I asked him what was going on, and he just didn't respond. He said he blacked out and didn't know what was happening, and I had enough, so I just went home, and I haven't left my bed since.
Oh, honey, I'm so sorry to hear about all that. This Bobo sounds like a terrible person. And you know what? You deserve so much better than him.
Oh, I forgot to tell you. My mom told me this morning that Bobo tried to come into my room that night, but thankfully she kicked him out for me.
Well, thank your mom for keeping you safe. Listen, you deserve so much better than this grody old tomato face. Look at you.
She's starting to smile a little bit, thinking about how dumb Zozin is, and she wipes her tears away. And then she kind of leans up against Sonora for comfort, and says, "But is everyone like this? Am I just gonna be alone forever?"
Oh, honey. You ever hear anyone say that everyone's different?
Yeah?
Well, I'll tell you one thing all men have in common. They're idiots.
Oh, really? And she starts taking notes on a piece of scratch paper by her bed.
A spare tissue.
a spare tissue.
But I'll tell you one thing. Some of them are idiots who can only think about themselves. And some are idiots that never think about themselves, only think about others. You need to find one of those. Tell me, what kind of things do you look for in a man?
Handsome, talks to me, lives in the town, or is in the town visiting. Those are really my only qualifiers.
Adores my battle scar.
Let's see. Do you like a big guy or like a thin guy?
I like muscles, like a 5-pack or more. That's my style.
Oh, hard worker, I bet.
Oh yeah. Working up a sweat all day, comes home smelling like, just, all that good juice.
Isn't afraid to sweat on his friends.
I think I know exactly what you mean.
But
say,
does
random.
Does someone like that really exist?
I think so. Random question though. What do you think about crickets?
I guess they're kind of cute. I never gave them much thought. Why?
No reason. Let me tell you, I think there is a guy like that out there for you. Someone who you deserve and who deserves you. Just gotta keep that chin up, okay?
And
Hey, how about I cheer up with a little song? You know, I'm a bard, you know.
oh really? And she gets really excited and sits up on her bed with her kind of shaking her shoulders in excitement. Can you roll, please?
Okay. Shoot, where'd my dice go?
Oh no, don't critical fail.
My dice! No! I rolled to find my
Accidentally
dice.
seduces the young girl with his song.
You know, it crossed my mind. Here, I'm just gonna pull up my app real quick.
Sonora leaves like in a burst of air out the window, and she's like, "Mom's right. I don't need a man."
Oh no.
All right, I'm rolling. I got a 12.
12? Okay,
Yeah.
plus your music buff of 6. So that's actually an 18.
Oh, I found my dice. It was right here. It was right in
Your song fills Grayley with some new challenging emotions.
Oh
And
boy.
Oh no.
Oh no.
she has a thought that maybe there is hope for love in her life.
Okay.
And she grabs a garbage can and starts picking up some loose tissues off the ground and throwing them away. And then takes the posters of boys on her wall and throws those away too. And says,
Oh,
won't
no.
be needing these.
Oh no.
Shit.
And she says, thank you for coming by, Sonora. I have a lot to think about.
Okay. See you around.
Moving on from those new developments in Grayley's life.
I think it was ambiguous, and I'm scared.
Ambiguous.
Scared probably isn't the word you mean.
Concerned. For Bobo.
For Bobo.
That's all you had to do,
Okay,
pretty much.
definitely concerned for Bobo.
I'm
Now,
concerned for myself.
Well, you dug your own grave, buddy.
now I'd like to do
It's not my fault I'm too charming.
the rest of the gang. The rest of the gang's encounter in the stables where Bobo has known to be. I guess he probably lives there. Maybe he sleeps on a hay pile. But nonetheless, you get to the stable and he isn't there, but you hear a really eerie, like, squeak of a flute being played very badly. Like someone's first time touching a flute, but with a lot of lung power.
And like cringing as we walk along, I just kind of eye the two of you since I've never been this way before, and kind of like over the sound say, "Is this normal?"
I don't know, but this isn't making my day better.
It is?
Tell if that's sarcasm.
I said it isn't.
Oh, okay. Well, what are we supposed to do here? Just that. I like.
Hey,
pointing above
Bobo.
my head.
Bobo does not answer, but the flute music does stop.
I got some response.
So this sound was coming from inside the stables, and the door
Yeah.
appears to be hanging open a little bit.
Gasambo,
Yeah.
can you sneak in to see who's
Oh.
inside?
Oh, Gazamba thought you wanted me to punch the door. Okay.
Now we're using your other skill today.
I haven't really used this yet. All right. I can try. Get my Sheikah slate.
Now I'm gonna say you're going to have disadvantage on this stealth roll because Zozin did call Bobo's name 5 seconds before telling you to enter. So
Broke the first ninja
it's
rule.
you're not the sneakiest, but roll twice and pick the lowest of that number, and then that will get your stealth modifier, and we can decide if you're sneaky enough.
The lower of the two. All right. Well, roll 1 is a 19. Roll 2 is a 5. Let me math it here real quick.
The, 5 is less.
Is there any way I could come up with some kind of fake math, like 2 plus 2 equals 5, to make 19 the lower one?
No.
Jay, did you just ask to cheat?
No.
No,
You can't rewrite how math works, unfortunately. Math is kind of a constant in
I
our
want to get into
universe.
some kind of quantum physics or something and change it all around.
No. So, Gazambo, that's a 5 plus 6. So, could be worse. However, you sneak in, and you don't immediately catch his attention, but you get a few seconds where he doesn't know you're in there. Sitting in the dark, Bobo is in there. And he's not the same Bobo you've seen before. He's been changed. He is now wearing a black tinted burlap sack and appears to be wearing eyeliner. And he also has about 20 crickets jumping on him. And the horses
Am I missing a joke beyond, like, am I missing something
no,
here?
no, the joke is just that emo Bobo. There's no secret reference or anything.
Okay.
The horses in the stable are standing in the corner, pressed against a wall, so they can be as far away from his flute noises as possible. But then Bobo turns his head and he sees you in the stable. He says nothing.
Oh.
Hi, Bobo.
When Zozin
Come in with me?
enters, Bobo's expression gets a little more stern. And then he says, "Well, well, well. If it isn't my good friend Trilby."
Yes.
Trilby?
Or wait,
He's.
is it Bobo? That's what you said your name was at the saloon last night.
Oh, yeah,
Seems
I
every
remember
time-
this time.
Seems every time I run into you, you give me a different name, huh?
No, I'm only giving you 2.
Sure. I don't have time for a
Zozin.
faker like you.
Yeah.
I'm busy here. And he starts playing the flute a little bit.
No, please don't. I don't like that sound.
Oh, well, I'm so sorry.
I look at Zozen. Because we're still out. Did we all go inside?
Zozin's peeking his head in. Vayu, are you going to go inside yet?
Once I hear the flute music start up again, I'm gonna just like kind of throw my wings up and say, to Hades with this rubbish, and I kick the door open and step inside.
Bobo is very confused as to why 2.5 strangers have just come into his stable. But he shows no fear in his eyes.
Strange.
And walking up to Bobo, I, as politely as possible, put my hand on like his hands playing the flute and slowly lower his hands, eyeing him like piercingly, eye to eye, showing an equal amount of zero fear or fucks for that matter.
He doesn't immediately respond, but he stares you dead in the eye, and it's kind of in a challenging tone. And then, in an attempt to intimidate you, he lifts up his shirt, and exposes his new 6th ab, which came in today.
And I cover my eyes, blinded by the glory.
You can have just one?
That's right. I'm a full 6er now. I'm a changed Bobo.
Hey, you got buffer.
Imagine out of pure malice and all the built-up anger, he just went home and like started doing crunches
And split his 5th ab.
Well, I see. Interesting indeed. You know, where I come from, there's a saying, when maturing Rito man finally gets his 6th ab in, they say he's ready to begin hunting for a mate.
You're not good at this either, are you?
Susan! I say, casting my gaze back at Bobo. Right! I forgot. Have you met my friend here, Zozen?
I have a feeling I'm in for a lot more hurt.
So that's your real name, is it? Zozen?
I've already told you once! Or twice.
3 times. Maybe 4.
Yes, it is a little bit murky.
And shaking my head, I turn it back towards Bobo and I say, I see that, yes, you have made his acquaintance, and if there's anything from being a longtime friend of Zozen's, yes, we go way back. If there's one thing I know, it's that the boy has a deep and beating red-blooded heart deep in his chest for assisting those around him.
Yeah.
And if there's a second thing I know about him, it's that he is equally as idiotic as that.
Yeah.
Bobo doesn't know what's going on.
Yes, my friend, I say, throwing one of my wings over his shoulder and sort of walking him over to Zozen. I throw out the wing that's not over his shoulder, like sort of demonstrating Zozen before them and say, yes, a pure being there never was, good at heart, but with such little brain to compensate. He told me the long and heart-agonizing tale of how his meager attempts at helping you, they fell with so much blistering pain upon their own sword.
Yes.
Yeah.
When you put your hand over Bobo's shoulders, a cricket, by the way, has crawled onto your hand. And maybe you react to that, or maybe you just try to ignore it.
Do you eat it?
No. We eat fish, if it wasn't obvious from the preface.
Oh, right.
At least primarily. I would, like, casually glance at the cricket, and I would, like, just gently pick it up by its antennae, not hurting it, and just lift it over and, like, would put it back on Bobo's shoulder. And I look at him and I say, Bobo, my friend, I personally want to apologize. We did not mean for Zozen here to be let out of his room alone. He's just such a danger to himself, you know, a big heart inside of his chest, but he doesn't know how to direct all of those feelings. Do you have any idea what that must feel like?
You've struck a nerve with Bobo. The concept of these uncontrollable feelings in your body kind of control your every action. It's something that Bobo is very familiar with at his age, and he's listening more intently now, and he says, "Yes, we can't control our actions. We're just slaves to our emotions."
Oh no.
Is that what you're telling me?
Yes,
Of course.
Sending in the boys alone was a mistake.
I say, throwing up my wings. Good, yes. that emotion, that raw power inside of you. I know how strong it can be. Now the problem is it can be a force of destruction.
Yes.
Force. No. But just as equally, it can be a force of creativity. Now, I see that you have an instrument there beside you.
Yes.
Now through it, those emotions, you can channel them. You can bring through them pure feeling. Out there, I know that there are people who would long and desire to hear those songs. But as you stand now, I can sense such great power, but it must be honed.
Would you like to hear my song?
Oh, I've heard quite enough of your song, friend. But I know that there are those out there who would be more than happy to hear it. More than happy to know what it could become and what it could mean if pushed in the creative direction. In fact, I know there's a good dear, another friend of mine. Unfortunately, she couldn't be here with me, but she's told me stories of how women would follow her around. They would fall at her heels, begging for her attention, just to hear another one of her songs.
He is 100% making this up, by the way. I never told him that story.
No, you never did. I'm making this shit up. I'm making 100% of this shit up.
Very
So you have a plan.
He looks to Vayu.
Plan.
He looks to Vayu and he says, "Thank you, Max. You have shown me the light in the darkness." And then he blows a very loud toot in his flute.
Yes!
Spooking the horses. Spooking the horses. And as they neigh in fear, he uses that to channel his power. Yes! And then he begins blowing the flute in a song that seems to possess the crickets. And the crickets start pushing you out the door. Not really, because they're crickets and they're not strong enough. But they are pelting your shins, and it's kind of annoying.
Well,
I think this is going well.
I'll take that as a good sign. And I say, sort of like turning on my taloned heels, I issue the boys towards the door and I say, "Remember, young Bobo, there is love out there waiting for you at the windowsill. All you must do is learn to channel that love in your heart through your song, and it'll come to you, my friend. I know it will."
There is love coming through the windowsill. I'm coming in through your windowsill. I'm watching from the windowsill. From love. Yes. And as he continues to practice his song, the crickets close the door behind you.
I see we are about at equal level of having a plan.
Listen, at least mine might turn out well. It all depends on how Sonura's side of things has gone.
The four of
Should
you...
we go to the...
Sonora has at this point left the inn, so the four of you are together in one spot. And also, you can see that there's sort of a gathering of people happening in the center of town.
Guys, we need to leave.
What did you do?
Well, I thought I was doing pretty well. I might have done too well. I ended up playing her a song.
Oh no.
And?
I think we need to leave town.
Doesn't
How did your side go?
Well, we saw that he was channeling his energy into his music, and I tried
Oh,
to
okay,
take
that's
hold of
good.
that.
That's good.
Yes.
Creative outlet.
But he began playing his music, and the crickets led us away from him.
Wait,
Gozembo thinks
He-
we've made a monster.
he could control crickets?
Yes,
Oh,
I'm not
We
sure
need to
how
leave
to
the
do this. So all for leaving the town?
But we need to know where to go.
Oh, we're going to Cherry Brush, aren't we?
I have
not?
a map.
Bay, Cherry Bay.
Cherry Bay. Sorry, Cherry Bay.
But
I pull out
how
the
do we
map
know-
that has an arrow pointing down.
But what about the guy I punched out? Shouldn't we see if he's fine?
Oh, yes, because checking on everybody's life who you've turned topsy-turvy thus far has been going swimmingly for us.
Graylee's mom exits the inn and starts walking towards the crowd of people.
Oh fuck.
What's everybody looking at?
Can I just sort of like inconspicuously fly? I'm gonna
Yeah.
make a stealth roll to inconspicuously just fly high enough to see what everyone's gathering around.
Sure. What'd you get?
6.
No. You're noticed, but no one cares really.
Okay.
It's someone shouts, "Hey, I can't hear over your flapping."
Oh, sorry.
Uh,
I just perch in a tree.
But you were able to see Soother, well dressed and almost exactly like you saw him last night, except sobered up and with a black eye. And he's giving
That's
it-
who we punched?
yeah.
Yeah.
I told you he was very short with strawberry blonde fluffy hair, and wearing a white suit. But now he's giving a speech on a podium in the middle of town, and people are gathered around to listen to what he has to say.
Should we go? Well, what are you seeing, Wayu?
It's Vayu, actually, my friend.
You don't know what I've been through, okay?
Steps out of character, fucking slaps his own face, realizing he made a character with a V in his name. Now realizing that might be an issue.
DuckTales, where you?
Steps back in character. It appears as if there's some sort of politician or public official about to give a speech.
Anything noteworthy about him?
Oh, he says, stressing the word I. Would say so.
Anything that we should notice or know about?
I fly down and I land in front of Zozen and I make mock punching motions towards my own eye. I think so.
Oh, it's the guy I punched.
Yes. It's the guy you punched.
You can kind of hear what Soother's saying. Are you going to actually like join the crowd a little bit, or are you just going to?
I'm gonna go back to my perch where I can assume I can hear sitting on a tree
Yeah.
at some point, and I'll allow them to decide if they need to get closer.
I'm run around the backside and listen how it looks from there.
Okay, can you do a stealth roll, Zozen?
Roll a 17 again.
Oh, okay. So yeah, you're hiding behind a building, kind of out of sight, but not suspiciously, and you can hear everything that's going on. Sonora, Gazambo, are you going to join the crowd?
Yeah, I don't have.
Yeah, sounds
So I don't have
good.
any stealth. I'm not gonna try a stealth roll.
Oh, wait. Ooh.
Some folks come here.
Back
Back me up here.
And he says, "And so, should you elect me mayor of Sunbury Town, I promise less change, predictability, because making your way in the world today takes everything you've got. And I believe, if you'll all now join me in song, we can make Sunbury a place where everybody knows your name. Yes,
How could they know this?
you're the only ones joining in. The rest of the crowd is silent. And they're always glad you came.
Oh, I love this song.
You want to go where people know.
Everybody knows your name.
Chin up, Sunbury. Thank you. And then the crowd, no one really cheers for him. They just kind of disperse. And Soother steps down from his podium and immediately walks towards the people who were actually joining him in song. So I guess can he reach you, Vayu? Are you you failed your stealth, so you're visible. But
Yeah. No, I just what happened was I was gonna fly up and just kind of watch from afar, but obviously people noticed me, so I just landed on a nearby tree to listen instead.
He gathered around towards Vayu, Gazambo, and Sonora, and he said, thank you all for supporting me during my speech. Thank you so much. I guess they didn't know the song then, but
I think that was a good song. Yeah, good song.
Wait a minute. The Goron, the Gerudo. Where's the other one?
Gazambo steps in
are there
front
other
of
what?
Zozin.
No, there was
What is the
someone
other
with
one?
you. I could never forget it. He was a Sheikah with a long beard.
Gazambo spreads arms like just shrugging. Can't see past me.
Well, Zozin took off, didn't he? He went to go hide. behind him.
Zozin's hiding right now, so he doesn't know where Zozin is. But
Wait, you mean? Oh, do you mean at the bar last night?
were you at the bar last night? Sorry, I drink too much. I don't really remember anything that happened. But I definitely you guys were the Scattered Heroes. Yes, that's what you were called. You were performing in the street like 2 days ago. It was absolutely fantastic. But your dancer, he was the star of the show, and I can't seem to find him anywhere. The bearded Sheikah, he was the dancer, right?
Yes.
He definitely was. Now,
Yes.
Should I come out?
No.
He's doing hand signs to Gazambo.
Yeah. No.
quick question. You seem to speak fondly of our dancer friend there. Do you know anything else about him by chance? Are you friends? Have you met before, since?
Not that I can recall. Should I recall?
No,
I'll think about it. I'll think about it. Hold on.
Just curious.
I was just curious. You seemed to be familiar, but his dancing does enrapture those enough to wish to know him better.
Absolutely. Yes. Famous feat.
Fast Big Zozin, that's what we call him.
All right.
Gazambo, tell me when I can come.
My next question.
Might be okay.
Next question. Why do you all have swords and bows and big hammers?
Oh, well, you see, we travel from town to town to perform for people, and you know how dangerous the roads can be.
Yes. So, hey, this might be a little out of line here, but, you all seem very capable, while at the same time expendable. I believe we can scratch each other's backs, so to speak. You guys do me a huge political favor, and I'll owe you a political favor whenever you need it.
I don't expect myself to fall into the business of politics anytime soon.
Oh,
No,
no,
I
it's
couldn't help it
right
over
up your
here.
alley. Does Zozin enter the
Yeah. I could help it over here, but we do have a situation on our hands that could benefit from political help.
Oh, well, really? Lay it on my ears. I'll help out in any way I can.
Hold on, I gotta talk with the group first before that. Also, nice to meet you.
Hi. Oh, you're the dancer. He shakes your
Yeah.
hand. Where did you learn those moves?
I learned them self-taught. It's as goddess Hylia is living through my feet.
85% of this campaign is just us fucking lying to people.
So
Anyway,
Group huddle?
Just a little bit of a group huddle. We have the fake prison break we have to deal with.
Okay.
We could avoid that with political connections.
Let's see. I was hoping to learn more about that before we took any action. Find out who this person we're supposed to break out is. Maybe what she's in for. We could use his connections to learn more about the prison.
That is also true. Casambo?
I don't know nothing about no politics.
So are you guys going to hear me out? Or are any of you wanting to help me? Perchance? No?
We'll certainly listen to your request. What do you need?
Great. So, one of my campaign promises was that I was going to remove a giant moldorm to the south of town. But I was just lying to get their votes, and I'm pretty sure they're on to me. So, if you guys can actually kill that thing, then everyone's going to be like, whoa, Soother, you're an honest politician and very fit to be our mayor. And I'll say, yes, I am. So, what do you guys think?
But what if you lie later?
Oh, I'm definitely going to lie to them later, but if I can keep them happy right now, I think that might give me an edge in the election.
Ah.
All right.
Because I don't
if we
think
do
you can
this-
smash bug like they have.
And if we do this for you, you'll owe us a favor?
Yes, anything within my political power. I can give you a pardon on a speeding ticket, or I'm also a lawyer, so I can represent you if you get in any sort of legal trouble, or need some sort of bill passed on your guy.
Well, boys, do you think we could take down a Moldorm?
The question isn't whether or not we can. I'm quite sure of our capability. The question is if we should.
He senses your hesitation, and it kind of upsets him, and his temper shows, and so he starts walking away and saying, "Yeah, okay, well then get lost, you damn wankers! Quit wasting my bloody time. Lot of ingrates."
Hold on, we didn't say no. The only thing is, we don't know if we will be able to do it without some compensation beforehand. We need some incentive to actually buy equipment to get rid of this fiend.
Asking for is a small advance, if you don't mind.
Reluctantly, he slowly turns back to you, and before he can even manage to speak, he takes a swig from a flask from his coat pocket, and then says, "Rupees. I can give you rupees if you help me out. 400 apiece."
That
A
sounds
piece
like
as in a person, or?
Yes.
Yeah, I like that number.
Quite generous.
1600 rupees in total. Just is that enough for you greedy, slimy bastards to help me out?
I mean, it depends. Are you going to continue insulting us? If so, the price might happen to go up.
He takes a larger swig from his drink. In fact, he just kind of empties the whole thing.
Just upends it. Look.
You don't
I-
this up for us.
I apologize for my previous actions, and I'm very happy to work with any member of Sunbury's great community.
We're not from around here.
It doesn't matter. That's better, actually. You know, I'm not from around here, though. I'm not from around here either. This is the 5th election I've lost in a row. Every time I just go to a different town, whichever one has an election season coming up, I stay there until I lose and then go to the next one. But I have a good feeling about this one.
Well, Soother,
You know,
was it? From one dirty, lying bastard who's not from around here to another.
He's
I
listening.
think we can work something out. Consider that Moldorm dead.
He
Can
holds out his
someone
hand.
remind Gozembo what this creature is?
Sandworm.
It's a small bug.
Oh.
I'm a Hylian. I know I'm short, but the Moldor.
no,
yeah.
not you.
Oh,
No.
okay. Sorry. I'm a little touchy.
It's okay. I'm short for my race too.
He holds out his hand to shake,
I shake it.
and Sonora.
Firm, up, down, release.
And also, you were slid some rupees when that happened.
I guess the gentle ruffle of rupees.
1,600 rupees.
2.
Oh.
You'll get the rest later. Now,
Oh, yes.
would you like me to show you where this Moldorm currently resides?
Oh, yes. Why don't you have him put it on your map, Sonora?
How about we just get a new map?
Yeah, this thing is a piece of shit. Why don't I just take you there in person?
Oh,
Sounds
okay.
lovely.
If you're not afraid of that being dangerous to yourself.
Oh, it's dangerous if you pass a certain point, but we should be safe before we get to the bridge.
Pardon me.
Understandable.
So the Soother starts walking out of the city.
We follow.
I mean, we don't have anything else to do here. Or do we, brother?
Soother, the soother, the soother.
As Soother leads you out of town and begins traveling into the unknown, he strikes conversation and says, "Look, can we all agree on something? Life is just a series of rocks being pelted at your genitals. And it beats you down till you're on the ground crying in a puddle, holding your junk for dear life. Am I right?
You have lost, Gozembo.
Can we all agree on that?"
Why don't
No.
you just eat the
3 out of
rocks?
4.
I don't... What's happening?
Yes, confusing metaphor. Imagine a ham being tossed at your genitals. Is that a better metaphor for you?
Well,
Maybe-
I wouldn't eat the ham, but...
Stay away from the whole genital comparison, and let's just assume that we understand what you mean.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, I mean, people think that they can make the world a better place, but a shithole's a shithole. And all you can do is keep your chin up and try to survive the constant crotchal pounding. And then he makes some vivid imagery with his hands.
Sir, the genitals again.
Right,
please.
sorry, I'm sorry. Now I'm not the politician who's going to try to fix everything and get everybody's hopes up before crushing them, in their... Oh, sorry, no, never mind. I'm just the
Get on.
politician who's going to keep Sunbury Town's chin up. Grit and bear it. And try to make everyone nice and comfortable before, any further pounding by rocks. So, tell me, honestly, do you think I'm full of horseshit, or do I have a point?
Do you mean in general or on this specific topic?
Either one, whichever one strikes you.
Yes!
Well, I say, looking at him and then turning back to everybody else. I mean, he does have sort of a point. He wants to keep things simple, average, acceptable.
Not worse.
And I mean, that's admirable in its own way.
Oh boy, you have no idea how badly I'm losing this election. I mean, my opponent hasn't even been in town for the last month and a half, and he's still beating me in the polls. That's what happens when you go around promising people change.
Who is this person?
Well, I don't remember his fucking name. Whatever, he's my opponent.
Is it Garan Obama?
It's Mayon, that's it. Yep, Mayon.
All right, Mayon the mayor. What a
Shit!
Terrible.
How did this keep happening? How did this keep happening? I'm very uncreative.
no. I can hear them now. Mayor, Mayon, Mayor, Mayor.
Mayor. Wait.
Anyway, Mr. Hillian, sir. We don't think that you're completely full of shit. But much like how a optimist sees a glass as half full, we happen to only see you half full of.
I'm a half man. Is that
No, no,
what this is
no,
about?
no.
Very,
Well, you're not
very
doing this
funny.
better.
Very funny, Vayu. Or whatever
on,
your
Vayu.
fucking name is.
I slapped way over the head. Good job.
You want to hear another funny story?
Huh?
It's you want to know how I got this short?
Does it involve a pencil?
Well, see, when I was young, I fell down the stairs, and then, hitting my head at the bottom, I flattened down like an accordion. No, that's a lie. That's a joke I tell. In truth, I was just born very, very short. But, what isn't a joke is that my parents told everyone I was 12 until I turned 22. So, if you want to talk about emotional damage...
Yeah, I grew up in a Goron
I
village.
put out a character there for a second. Come on, we're trying to have.
Yeah, Soother, I grew up in a Goron village. I know how you feel.
I loved my village. I have no idea. I cannot relate. So I apologize.
I never even knew my father.
Well, optimists, going around thinking that they deserve to have things. It's a little disheartening, but after a while, you reach a giant marble wall, and it's actually a bridge, but you're going under it. So it looks like a wall from where you're standing, and there are stairs that will lead up to the left and the right to the top of the bridge, and Soother has stopped dead in his tracks. And
So I'm
Are
assuming
we
this is
there?
where it stops being safe.
yep, Moldorms are directly past that gate. So they're not moving, otherwise there'd be earthquakes. I assume the Moldorm here is sleeping, but just to be safe, I'm not going to go past this bridge or even near the bridge. But that's where you need to go.
Smart.
Wait, aren't like bugs small?
Do you,
Oh,
gentlemen,
no. The Moldorm is the largest thing you've probably seen in your entire life. It's ginormous,
They're no
and
joke.
it will kill you given the opportunity, so don't give it that opportunity, or else I'll have to send yet another adventurer down here.
But it's
Yet
got worm in the name.
Another.
I've heard horror stories about Moldorm. We don't want to underestimate this thing.
It got worm in its name. How could it be big?
I saw one once from a distance, off in the desert. The silhouette was terrifying.
Well,
yes, well, we've already gotten ourselves wrapped up in this, so
This should be fun.
I'm just gonna go there for a little minute.
So
You
then-
see you in.
remember the skeleton times? Remember how big he
I'm
was?
coming.
if luck were a thing that I believed exist, I'd say good luck.
Technically, he just did, but
I'd like to take a break at this point.
Okay.
We'll be right back, folks, with more Scattered Hero. Hey, we are back, and I regret to inform you that the rest of the stream is actually going to be very short because something came up.
Unforeseen.
Unforeseen circumstances.
Life, why?
And we're not going to have a stream next week, so this is going to be the...
Could we see if you maybe could do something the weekend if possible?
oh, sure. We'll see if we can schedule something in, because
Hey,
I'd like to get to the end of the storyline, but we're just going to do a short little scene now before we wrap up for the night. So the four of you approach this gate, and I've gone ahead and mapped out the gate for you. So there are arches down here that you can walk under to get to the other side, and there's stairs that will go up to the bridge. There's a cave inward on both sides, and then these are holes in the ground.
Oh, okay. So, wait, caves on... Where are the caves?
On both sides of the bridge. The bridge crosses two caves.
Okay.
Oh.
Okay, that makes sense.
So, who's going to go first?
Perhaps the safest place would be on top of the bridge.
Limbo could try to scout.
You know what? Sure, you might actually be better than Wayu at that.
I'm not exactly sure what you mean by that.
You just made huge noise when you were trying to scout the market.
Yeah, but he was in the air.
Right.
We all know
I guess the wormwood says vibration.
Bulldarms work. They
Well,
burrow through the sand. They'll burrow through the sand, and as soon as they feel vibration up above, they rise up and snap it in their jaws. Or whatever they have instead of jaws.
Even if it looks like a rock.
Especially if it looks like a rock.
Soother is off in his corner hiding and says, "Get on with it already! If you're going to die, you're going to die. At least do it fast."
Huh.
Gentlemen,
Very,
That's a point.
Kazambo, please.
No, not now.
I think for now we should go on top of the bridge so we have a better look at the area.
Yes, and at least that way, if it's going to get us, we'll at least see it first. So,
Don't this was gonna get us, just...
So have you all decided to go up the bridge?
I'm going to fly up to the top of the bridge and hover just like a few inches above touching the ground and wait for the rest of them to...
So wait, the bridge is above the sand, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
So
Like, how
Sonora's
tall
going to
is
go
the
up there?
bridge?
Are you going to go up there?
Yeah. How tall is the bridge?
Okay. And then Zozin and Gazambo, are you going to go up?
Sure.
Yes. But sneakily.
And fast.
All right, everyone
Well-
went up on the bridge. But there's still nothing happening.
Are there any rocks, pebbles on the bridge?
Ah, yes, of course there is, I say, looking at Kazambo.
Because almost see what you did.
There aren't rocks per se, but you can see one particular part of the backside trim that has kind of, through old age, not rusted, but crumbled, and so there's some rubble from the marble bridge.
Well, here goes. I kick it down.
And this rock tumbles down the entire distance of the gate and lands in front of this hole. And then you hear a rumbling.
No.
And then you hear a growl.
That is not your stomach, is it, brother?
Could have been.
And then a
Are you
Moldorm
sure?
crawls out from underneath the hole. And it's a gigantic worm. This
Oh,
is
shoot.
to scale here.
This is what it would look like if it were eating me.
And the only feature on its wormy, gigantic body is a mouth on its front of jagged, sharp teeth in a spiral around. And it notices you.
Hi.
All right then. Well, I guess
Hey,
so
can
much
I
for
see
the-
our inventories real quick?
Yes, you may.
I want to see if it has bomb arrows.
I do have bomb arrows.
He does have bomb arrows. I believe he bought 3 of them.
Yeah, I think I got 3.
Yep. So he has 42 regular arrows, 10 shock arrows, and 3 bomb arrows.
Okay, can I also ask a meta question about Druce Protection?
Yes.
How that works.
So how Druce Protection works exactly is that you're going to do a roll plus your music, and then that's going to be divided by a quarter. So a quarter of whatever your total is.
Okay.
And that is how much
Divided.
damage you can block. It just creates a shield that will last until that much of damage is taken away. But you can perform it on anyone's turn. So if whether it's Gazambo's turn or the Moldworm's turn, you
Does
can...
it only block that much damage, or if an attack will break it, does it block all of that attack, or just that amount of damage?
Just that amount of damage. If it
Okay.
if it breaks, you'll subtract that much damage from your
Okay.
being hit.
So
And
it's
it
not like
has
it's already a bubble.
it has a
or-
limited radius too, so you can probably only bubble one person unless you're all huddled together.
Okay. But knowing that it can go on somebody else's turn is very helpful. Okay.
And could I have you guys roll for initiative for me?
Sure.
Okay. 12.
15.
Okay.
12.
Okay.
2.
Oh.
Because I'm gonna roll a 2. Well, I have some very bad news for you.
It rolled a 20.
The Moldrum rolled a nat 20 on initiative.
Could go Zamo add a 0 to his number.
Nope, and that's gonna be the end of the stream. We're going to start. We're gonna start the next stream
so slow.
with our battle against Moldorm, and I'll have the order pre-prepared for you next time. Thank you guys for showing up. We'll be back whenever we can. We'll give you some notice, but
Yeah.
sorry we had to cut the stream short. Good night, everybody.
Good night.